I'm Dave Luvison, an executive in residence with Loyola University, Maryland. And it's my pleasure today to facilitate this conversation between Matt Bielecki at M&T Bank and one of our students, Jose Trinidad Lopez Camacho, to talk about banking and how it might be a great opportunity for our students as a career path that they could take. So I will turn this over to our two conversants here and try to stay out of the way because I know they've got some interesting things to share with all of you. So Matt, maybe you could start us off with a quick introduction of yourself, and then I'll ask Jose to introduce himself, and then we'll take it from there. Matt?
Yeah, certainly. Thanks, Dave, and thanks for giving me some time to have a conversation with Jose and the rest of the group. But yeah, so my name's Matt Bielecki. I work for M&T Bank, and I oversee our retail branches in downtown Baltimore. So I'm a retail regional manager for M&T Bank. I've got 13 branches on my team. So most of the branches in Baltimore City. I've been with the bank for about 12 years, and all 12 years have been in the retail bank in the branch network. And I started off in our management development program, same thing that Jose will be starting off in, and kind of worked through the branch roles over that 12 years, and have been a regional manager for the past 5 years. I did my undergrad at the University of Rochester, but my MBA part-time at Loyola.
Great, good. Well, thank you, Matt. And Jose, if you would tell us a little bit about yourself, and then since you're the questioner, we'll let you run the show. So please introduce yourself and take it away.
Well, thank you, Professor Luvison, and thank you, Matt, for taking the time. My name is Jose. I'm a current senior at Loyola, studying international business. And I have been in the banking industry for about 1.5 years now. And I was starting with M&T, as Matt say, under their management development program. Matt, you mentioned that technology has really helped brought in more customers to the bank. Kind of a follow-up question, with financial technologies kind of booming within the past few years and still in the future, how might bank relationships with customers change in the future with new financial technologies? How do you think that brick and mortar locations might change?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and it's something that we've been thinking about for a while here at the bank, and we've been making our own transformation over the past couple of years to kind of achieve the like desired result of staying up to speed with technology and the demands of our customers. So technology has what Amazon does, what Facebook does, what all these different technology companies do, that influences the expectations of our customers. So we have to be just behind those leaders in technology when it comes to the customer experience and those personalized experiences that customers are getting when they go onto Amazon and they have those recommendations right there that are so specific and targeted to what they need because of the data that they're able to collect. So, when it comes to banking, we're doing a lot of work to make sure that we have very personalized experiences for our customers. Everyone is unique, and we've done a lot of work to be more segmented in our approach so we can really understand people better and their needs deeper so we can be more tailored with our offerings and our solutions and our suggestions. So that's just fast tracking because of the advancements in technology. So we really want to be good at creating personal, unique experiences for each customer. And then on the branch side, the branches remain relevant. And for years, I think consultants and industry experts have been saying, branch is going to die, but the branch still remains very, very relevant. And it's still the number one driver of customer satisfaction. Now, number two now is the mobile experience. So mobile experience has increased to number two, but number one driver of customer satisfaction is still their branch experience. Customers are still utilizing the branch. The role of the branch, I believe, is going to be different. And what we do in the branch is going to be different. So I do believe that, branches will turn more into like advice centers and education centers where we are functioning more as a place to go for a client to go when they have a complex need or like a key life moment where, maybe they're, starting to plan to have a family and they want to talk to someone about what does that mean to, like, when I have a kid financially, what do I have to think about for that? And we'll be able to have that consultative conversation. Or like, I need to buy a house. Like, what should I start doing now to prepare myself to buy a house? And what does that process even look like? Like, that will be more of the conversations that we'll have and we are having now compared to someone coming into, maybe cash a check. And that's kind of how they view the bank, as just a transactional place to more. So we're going to be shifting, and we already have shifted to be more of a advice and guidance driven approach within our branches. So the branch will still remain relevant. It's just we'll be doing different things, and we already are doing different things in the branch than we've done when I first started.
And kind of a follow-up question on that answer. Do you think in terms of staff, or branches going to shrink or become bigger when they move on from more of a transactional side to more of an advisor side?
Yeah, so most likely, staff size will shrink because clients are not coming in to the branch to do those transactional things where we may have had staff in there to do that transaction. So staff size will directly correlate to how our customers want to utilize the bank. So if they're not coming in to do those simpler transactions that they can now do on their phone, or they can do online, or they can do at the ATM, or maybe they don't even have to do anymore because they're not getting a check and everything's done electronically. We're not gonna have someone in a branch if that's not going to meet the needs of what our customer is looking for. So when I talked about having like someone who can have a conversation around, helping someone plan for a family or helping someone with their financial health, that's the type of, I think, role we're evolving to be more specific to, what that person is, going through, and having a person in the branch who can meet the needs of the client on a more complex level, because the transactions just aren't, people are doing transactions in simpler, easier ways. So, I mean, we're gonna staff to meet the needs of the way our customers want to interact with us.
Jose, if I can ask a follow-up to that, it sounds like, though, the skills that you're going to be looking for people in those roles that are going to remain are actually going to be deeper skills, right? It'll actually create different kinds of opportunities for employment. Maybe not as many people who are quote unquote tellers, but more people who are advisors that have to have a different set of skills. Is that an accurate assumption?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So we want to shift from a mindset of transactional, like just processing stuff, to more advisory based. So yeah, those skills of client relationship management and higher, just like a higher knowledge of financially what someone should be thinking about or doing when it comes to different moments that matter in someone's life. Those are things that we're going to have to help our bankers improve their skill sets on. And then when we're bringing on new people or acquiring new talent, those are the type of folks that we'll be looking for, who can have those in-depth financial conversations around specific moments in someone's life, because people are thinking about like their life and the things that they need to do within their life to achieve the goals that they want to achieve. We need to have the people at the bank who can, number one, ask those questions, find those things out, and then be able to have good conversations to understand needs and also provide solutions to help people in those moments that matter most in your life. So for sure, the skill set is definitely changing.
Jose?
So that is definitely an interesting point about a changing skill set. And you also mentioned that our online banking has been the second factor for satisfaction. How should students interested in banking begin to prepare themselves for these future environment and technological changes?
Yeah, great question. One of the things that is a question that I often ask in interviews now that 3 years ago I didn't, is what's your favorite app? Like, everyone uses app. Like, what is your favorite app? Because I want to make sure the person who we're hiring is digitally savvy and understands, how to use mobile banking, and use those technologies that makes life easier. So, that the digital education in the role is much more a part of it now than even 3 years ago. So that's just one aspect. I think someone who may be coming in, fresh out of undergrad, I think may have an advantage compared to maybe someone who has been in banking for 20 years. But in terms of another aspect, so technology and then data. So, there is so much more data that we have on customers, on transaction activity, and the ability to understand data to be able to make good quality recommendations is something that I think, for folks coming into banking, that's something that they can, just be aware of. I think we have a lot of opportunities at the bank on how we utilize data to provide really good recommendations. But I think that's something that, is something that someone could, focus on, or have a skill set in, when it comes to coming to the bank. I'm not so much on that side of the house, but I know that, we're working hard on how to utilize our data more effectively.
Interesting. So it would be safe to assume that having a strong skill set in data analytics would play a crucial role in pretty much any role in the bank.
It's becoming more and more important for sure.
Okay, well, got it.
I mean, it's certainly not something that is a requirement at this point, but I can say it's talked about much more now than, even 3 years ago, 2 years ago.
Okay, got it. So it should be a skill set that current students should definitely maybe focus on developing a little more.
Certainly couldn't hurt.
Well, that is all I have for me, Professor Levison. If you have any further questions.
No, I don't. Matt, is there any final thoughts you want to share with our students about banking? You've really articulated, I think, some really interesting aspects about the ability to interact with the community, the fact that you're helping people, that you're providing something that's fundamental to what people need for their lives. And you've given us a lot of interesting aspects in terms of where it's going. Any final thoughts you'd care to share with them?
Yeah, I mean, I just reflect back to how I got into banking and my perspective coming into it. It wasn't something that I was entirely sure about or entirely confident about, because at that point I didn't know much about banking, and I just be candid. I didn't know. I didn't think about banking. It wasn't something that I really ever thought of. I had an account, just like, okay, well, I don't really think about it, and I didn't necessarily think about a career in it. But then when I got into it and I learned more about all the things that I talked about, it certainly grew on me. And I love the fact that we have a direct connection with people every day, and we can truly every single day make a difference in someone's life. And that was always so rewarding that each day I could come in, I could have a conversation. If I do a good job of connecting with this person, allowing this person to open up and share what they're going through financially or just in life, there's a lot of times that I could figure out a way to help them with whatever they were going through when it came to banking or whatever. So I just got a lot of satisfaction. I still do get a lot of satisfaction out of helping people in those ways. So yeah, I think it's an awesome industry to get into. It's an industry that's rapidly changing, as I suggested. So it's a great time to get into as someone who's new to the working field, because although you may feel like you're at a disadvantage because you don't have as much experience, that could also provide you some advantages in the way that banking is shifting right now.
That's great. That's great. Thank you, Matt. One of the things that you were talking about was this idea of being able to actually help the customer see, then clients see solutions. We know from a lot of study about meaningfulness that the more you can see the end result for something that you're doing, the more satisfied you're going to be. So that's fantastic.
Yeah. And I think about like all the studies that I read of like the increased, I guess, importance of financial literacy and the increase I guess, stress that money causes people, whether on the personal side or even the business side, and the opportunities that we have to help businesses grow. And I think there is such a need out there. It's just we've got to figure out how to fill that need, and always be thinking about that. So that's what I get a lot of satisfaction out of. I get a lot of that's what fuels me. That's what drives me each day.
Well, that's great. Thank you. Jose, any final thoughts that you'd either want to share that with your fellow students about this interview or your experience in banking?
Yes, I just like to share that as Matt mentioned, it is definitely a field that you don't need to be required to be a business major. It is a field that as long as you really have the mentality to learn and apply what you have learned in your everyday working environment, it really helps you to drive that skill set that you're essentially going to need for a later career in banking. And as Matt mentioned, it is a role that really gives a lot of satisfaction due to the fact that it is a heavy client facing role. You can see how your recommendations have really make an impact on somebody's life. And that at the end of the day is just, it's a very rewarding feeling to have. So that is all I have.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, I want to thank you both for taking the time to do this interview as part of our Sit Down with Sellinger series. I have to say, for those of you who are watching this, the energy between Matt and Jose has been great, and it's just been fun going along for the ride on this. Obviously, a lot of interesting things about banking that hopefully we piqued your interest in and maybe answered some questions you had. But I thank you both for taking the time to do this, and I know our students are going to get a ton of value out of it. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.